That's assigned. Okay, Shaggy SoCal with 2 for Forza. And before I start talking about track guide stuff, I've been dealing with some just a glitchy issue with Twitch that I'm just trying to figure out. I'm not sure if it's on my side or if it's Twitch's side, but live streams, I think, as they're live, are fine. It's just when I stop the live stream, the VOD that gets saved is like completely, you know, you know, effed. It's weird. There's no audio. It locks. It thinks no matter how long I stream for, it thinks I've streamed for 36 days. So, uh, again, Twitch support, just kind of a couple back and forth just to make sure they understood that, hey, this is the issue I'm having. It's not that I'm having a problem viewing the stream or the VOD. It's just there's a problem in stopping the live stream, and the VOD that's saved after that gets a little wonky. So they kind of gave they gave like the standard checklist, kind of a lot of what I was planning on doing anyway. There was one extra thing of like, oh yeah, you know what, probably should, reset the connection from, because I stream straight through Xbox, to reset that connection between the Xbox and Twitch, and the other ones is your standard fare stuff. Doing the hard reboot of the Xbox to kind of clear its cache. There were a couple of games. I don't know that I had a space issue. I still had 100 gig free, but there's a couple of games that I wasn't playing. It's like, let me just take those off, free up some space there. And then usually the standard, internet connection issues like that, probably a good idea. Let's just reboot the router and the cable modem. So did all of that. So what I want to just do really quick here, because I typically don't do this, is I want to just confirm that that my stream is actually up and running. Yes, I'm live. Let's go to my stream manager. Nope. Good. So, see, I'm going to go all Inception-y. Stream is live, and audio seems to be coming through fine. So again, okay, so live going out is fine. And we'll just we'll do the track guide and we'll see what happens with the video on demand. If it saves and it's fine, then yay, good. If not, then then you guys might be on your own this week again on track guides. Not that you watch anyway, but so let's get back. We're a final week in this 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia. It's been an interesting car. Again, production car to try to make it into a race car. It's always a mixed bag what you're going to get or what out of it. But I'd say for the most part, this car actually races pretty well, but it does require, you have to drive it a certain way. It's just not gonna, or it's not gonna cooperate. But the last 2 races, first one, we're going to do the guide here at Sunset Club, Sunset Peninsula Club Circuit reverse. Then the other one is Yas Marina North. So again, I would say neither circuit is ideal for. Actually, Yas might be pretty good for this car because it's a little more point and shoot. I don't know that this circuit, because of the curving, is best for it. But you're here for the track guide. So what I'll do is just standard fare. I'm going to go out here on medium tires, run a couple of laps, talk a little bit at speed of things I'm looking for. Then I'll do a slow kind of track walk where I'll get a little more in depth as far as corner to corner, what I'm looking for, what I'm doing, what I think the car wants, and then finally kind of cap it off, because I do want to get a little bit of a practice and validate what I think the race distance will be. I'll run a mock race against the AI, just so I can practice my questionable racecraft. So with that, let's just go ahead and get out there and start. No, let's just get out there and run some laps. Yeah, I won't be getting on the curb there. This car doesn't like the curbs here at Sunset. I can tell you that much right off the bat. Three, two, one. Turn numbers, I have no clue. like, is this technically turn one? Maybe. I'm not going to worry about turn numbers or like that, but yeah, I'm going to keep the car kind of mid-track, brake at that first line, down to second, late turn in, might get on the curb there a little bit. Don't have a lot of time to get the car to breathe before you have to immediately go back to the right. I've taken that turn much better, and I've taken that turn much worse. Heading down the short straight here, going to brake just past the 400 board, down to second here. You could probably, I think when I get into rhythm, it'll be third into that double apexer, then down to second to get out of it. Up to third. And this one, I'm not sure. Like, tires are still a little cold. I'm not sure if second or third is better there. I think, or a combination. Again, that'll be driver preference. We'll do one more lap and see if I get this opening here a little bit better. Just gonna push a little bit, get a little vibration in the wheel. Still a little bit high, I think. Can use that inside curb. I'm actually surprised how much of that curb the game lets you get away with, but again, transitioning from the backside of it does upset the car, so you got to be careful. That's a little weird. Could have been better. Oh, too far out. Late in the brakes. That curbing is dangerous as well. You know what? I'm going to do one more flyer. It's my live stream. I do what I want. All right, so I turn in at speed. The car's going to push a little bit. Once it gets set, maybe not, depending what you do. I do like running over that patch. And then I'll tell you where I'm braking here. That's not too bad. That could have been a little bit better, but yeah, we've got it. I know this is a torquey motor, but I do think second, at least, we'll see how the race goes, but I might do second in there. All right, so let's talk about, we'll do the track walk here. So, gee, it's a bank turn. You can take about just about any line through here you need to. You can, if you want to hug the line, that's great. If you get a run, you want to go the high side. For me, as I'm coming out of, as I'm, keeping my eyes up, looking as far ahead as I can. Come on. I wanted to go in reverse, but we'll just do this. First thing I'm going to be spotting as I'm coming through the turn, and hopefully not, running into anybody, is I'm going to be looking for that patch of, the patch of asphalt in the middle of the track. So even if I get down low, as I'm approaching that, I'll probably start to creep the car up um, so that I'm at least on the low side of it. Because this is about, and you can kind of see, just in the rubbering in and kind of the rubbered in lines that they've added to the track just in general. This seems to be, and I guess the other question is this the entry line that's being rubbered in, or is this the exit line going the other direction? But um, there's there's like three ways to get through this corner from the banking and into the infield. Uh, I I will more often than not take this middle line. I don't want to be all the way down low to braking because that pinches the entry off a little too much, and then you're slow in that next corner. And then too high, I don't know where the track limit line is, and the thought. But let me actually get up here a little further, and I can talk about the individual lines, and you guys can figure out what you want to do. But if I'm here in the middle, what I'm looking for is I'm just going to put the center of the car on the start of it. But you can see this rubbered in line right here. That's what I'm looking for. So for me, I'm going to brake just as I get to that line. And ideally, I don't know that I'll brake. And this is where I'm still, my opening laps are always the worst. It always takes me a few laps to kind of get up to speed. But I don't know, at least from my tendencies, I'm not going to center up on that line as far as braking. I think ideally I'm going to be a little, I'm going to have that, essentially try to get my left sides onto that line as far as brake, be about that far up. So what I think I'll be doing, we'll see what happens when I actually get into the mock race, is braking some a little above it. So brake, 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 brake down to second gear. And really, second gear is just, again, it's that it gets the car a little more on its toes on the front tires to help with the turn in. And for me, ideally, and you know, we'll play with the lines here, but I'd almost rather be up here on the banking and do a little bit later of a turn in and try to take this as traditionally as possible. So I'll come off the banking here, and then I'm going to try to aim to apex on the back half about here. That's what I'm trying to do. That seems to work best for me. The the other ways that you might try, and again, I don't know that there's any right or wrong way to do it, but is, if you're going to take the low line in and you're going to brake about the same place, this car, again, one of the main reasons why I don't like doing the low line is because then I have to start turning earlier, and this car does not turn while especially if you're trying to, you're doing threshold braking here to get the car slowed down. So as long as you're using that much brake pressure, you're not going to be able to turn as easily. You're going to have to start feeding the brake out to be able to get the front tires to turn the car in. So my only problem with being this far down is you're going to keep it really, really low, and you've got to slow way, way down to make the corner. This might be the right line. I'm actually going to see what the game suggests here in a minute. But the idea is still converging to about here on the apex for the exit to set up for the right hander. The other line is you take a higher line in, and there's track limits there. Speaking of track limits, you take a higher line in and you try to drop it down. Yeah, I'm way off track. So you're taking a higher line in, brake, 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 and you're way up here, and then you're going to do a late turn in. But somewhere along here, try to do a late turn in and maybe get a little bit of an acceleration down through. Uh, this I think is a little too high to get down in the corner. You have a risk of chopping into somebody because again, the proximity radar doesn't always, the range doesn't go as far out as maybe we would want it to. Um, so, but that being said, let's because I tend to do these without really looking at what the game suggests and just like finding my own way. But what does the game suggest? Let's see. All right, so give me a second. Just humor me. Yeah, settings, accessibility. No, gameplay and HUD. There we go. Let me track limits on and oh, driving assist suggested line full. What is the wow, they want you to do the low line. Okay, interesting. And then those track limits up here. Yeah, so you can be all the way at the wall here if you want to do a late turn in, but you can kind of see, and actually now that I have that on, you can use the rubbered in line there. It does give you a little bit of a guideline of don't go past that. But yeah, the game suggests taking the low line in. Okay, good to know. Again, hashtag me personally, I like the line a little higher, a little higher entry and do a later turn in. But that's me. Um, so okay. I never said that what again, all of these track guides is how I approach it. It's not necessarily the right way. It's just how I do it. Let's go ahead and turn that off. We'll go back to gameplay and HUD, turn the track limits off. There we go. All right. So yeah, so they want you to take the lower line in. So, to each their own. We'll see how it works out. But if you're going to take the lower line, just really make sure you get your braking done because it's very easy to go off on the outside of that corner, as we found out during the shakedown. Um, Again, it's another left-right combo, and this one really there's not a lot of time, depending on how much speed you're carrying through here. There's not a lot of time to get the car. Yeah, again, I've always, any of these times to do these combinations, especially with a car where the back end is free as it is. Um, any chance you can give the car a moment to breathe to get that weight, off the one side and centered before you start having it go the other direction. Just that if you can give the car that moment of breath, it should make your life a little bit easier. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure. And there's these two corners also have, or the neck corners also has its own issue. But again, late apex there, trying to at worst keep the car in the middle to set up for the next corner. If I really do it right, you know, ideally the further to the left you can have the car on exit, the easier it makes this next corner, and you'll be able to carry a little bit more speed through it. And it does lead onto a short straight that, depending on what your opponent does in front of you, you might be able to set up a pass. So um, this next turn is more important than the one we just came out of. So second gear, third gear, not really much of a break. You're not going to, getting back to the throttle and getting ready to turn in, you're really not going to break much at all, if at all. It's just probably going to be easing off the throttle to turn in, and then balance applying it as you get to the apex and exit. Um, so you can use a crap ton of this curb. I mean, it's not going to ding you for track limits until the left sides actually cross the backside of the curbing. That being said, going through this corner, if you can do it neat and tidy and stay off that curbing, that's probably the safest. Um, you saw in the demo laps, you can cross over it. It's just as you come back across the backside of the curbing, back across is a little bit steeper. It will upset the car. It'll rotate the back end of the car a little bit, and you have to feather it. If you do it neat and tidy, also on exit, be careful. The back tires may spin up here if you don't have traction control on. And I'm fully expecting all of us at some point during the race to drop tires on the left side, and either be just offline or be fully offline in the grass and have to merge it back on. Which, again, if the car in front of you does that and you got a really good run out, you might get the run down to the next corner. So that right-hander, the tricky part is how much of the curb do you think you can get away with, especially if the car bounces off, crossing back over and gets out of control, and just being progressive with the throttle as you get onto the straight. It's going to be fun. But heading down the back straight here, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, maybe fifth. I think you can wind it out in fourth. It depends. Again, I'll leave that up to you as far as what's comfortable for you. But for me, braking is going to be all around, like around that 400 board. Not right as I get to it, and by get to it, to me, that's when I say I get to it. But as it goes out of view, a little bit past that, that's when I'll start hitting the brakes. So I think, if I were to go external camera, I'm probably braking even with the 400 board. It is a bit further back than you can see kind of the rubbered in uh, lines going across the track, where people have been scraping the splitters as they've been trying to get the car slowed down. Um, Unfortunately, this car, because this car is a heavy one, you got to brake a lot earlier than at least I'm braking earlier than I would want to. I think on other cars, I'd be looking more like the 300 board, um, getting closer to that. But fourth gear, brake, 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 down. I'm going to get it down to third gear. And if I do it right, I want to have the majority of my braking done just as the 100 board's going out of view. And I'll start to cheat. I've already just kind of done it here. I'll start to turn the car in for this curving. Again, if you're still on threshold braking, you go to try to turn the car, it's not going to turn. So You want to get your braking done. If you're braking at the 400, you want to get almost all of it done by the time you get to the 100 board, so that as you start to feed the brake out, the front end will start to turn, and then ideally, I'm going to try and get the car turned in, and I'm going to cross over this curb just straight over it, so that I'm lined up to the first of this next double apex corner. So third gear here, maybe still braking and maybe off, maybe a little happy feet. But I'll definitely brake again and drop it to second. Let the car come out. Now, for me, more often than not, I'm going to totally miss this next curbing for the first couple of laps. It's going to take me a few to get the braking and turning right to be at the curbing at the apex. So if you find that you're a little wide on the second apex, that's fine. Just continue to roll in the throttle and just be as smooth as possible. Ideally, I want to try and get to it late. Second gear, let the car come out, possibly a short shift to third, definitely in third before I get to the next corner. Um, so what I'm looking for as far as references, you can see the rubbered in line as it goes, as it goes to the right here, under the split second, the pedestrian bridge. But then you can see the kind of the clear pavement that kind of continues into the, for the full version of the reverse circuit. So where that clear patch is, that's about where I know, just as I'm getting to that, is where I'm going to back off the throttle so I can turn the car in for the next and set up for the next two corners. So it'll be out here, third gear, you know, roll out of the throttle, turn the car in, and much like I talked about in the NASCAR going the other direction, I am gonna play chicken and flirt with track limits with this white line. Ultimately, I want to get, if I do it right, I'll cross over the right line a little bit. I'm going to play track limits there, looking at the white, or the, I'm sorry, the yellow for the point, the end point paint of the curve. Blah, blah, blah. You see where I'm setting up, but yeah, I'm going to try and get as close to this as possible. So I will be flirting with the track limits and the wall there. But if I do it right, you can see how it puts me almost straight on with the first apex for essentially almost the final two corners on this circuit. So be third gear here, roll back into the throttle. It's a straight shot here. Just as I get to the inside curbing, this is the other thing I got to play with. The controller, it's funny. It's just the differences between how I have to drive with the controller versus the wheel. The controller, I had to brake earlier because I didn't have the fine controller of the steering for the double apexer. So it was a little bit tougher to find the rhythm. But just about as I'm getting to the curb here, maybe a little bit before, depending on the tire, there's a little bit of a brake to get the car settled in. And this is where I'm not sure. This will be driver preference. This is do you need the car on its toes a little more or on its heels a little more? I think if you can get your braking right, you can do this in third. It feels a little low in the rev range, but it's a torquey motor, so you might have decent pull out. Pull up. Yeah, I can't talk today. You might have a decent pull out of the final corner on getting back onto the oval. Early on, I'll probably do it in second, just to get the gearing to put the car on its front tires a little bit more. It'll help with the turn in. Um, let the car come out. Again, if you notice, most of the tire marks are like that is mostly out to the outside curbing, but not to the outside curbing. That outside curbing is deadly, especially because again, we're in the middle of a double apex corner. All the weight's on the right side of the car. If your right rear just touches that curbing on the exit, it is enough that it'll pitch it sideways. And then you're scrambling to gain control, then you slow down, then you've killed all of your momentum back on the front stretch, and possibly set yourself up to getting past. So again, allow the car to come mostly out. And again, double apex corner. So here's the second apex here, second gear, up to third, probably a short shift to third, depending on what you're doing. Let the car come out to the outside here. And then, yeah, it's the full throttle under the front stretch. Now, for me, the two reference points that I use is I'm going to start my turn in as I get to the scoring pylon. And then as I get there, I'm going to stop it here. So if you notice, you see the inside, you see the inside of the pit wall there, leaning onto the front straightaway. And you can kind of see where it ends, and then you can just barely see the yellow paint for the apex onto the front straightaway for the oval. If you go straight up into the grandstand, you're going to see a Dunlop sign. So for me, I know as the pylon goes past, I'm going to start churning in. I'm going to have my eyes, to the end of the wall, but really I'm kind of looking at where when that Dunlop sign is kind of like where it's lined up now. That gives me my aim point of like, okay, now I know where I can arc the car in, and even though as I get closer, the parallax it's going to move that. I think that's a Dunlop sign. Maybe that's an owner sign. I'll see what that is, but it's yellow. So I'm going to look at that. One that intersection is what I'm then going to kind of focus on pointing the car towards to get it. Again, I want to use as much of this as possible. The risk is you can see how the tire barrier here is. We get no help from the tire barrier if you turn in too late and you cut it too much. You get that hitting that will be a bad time. Hitting that with people behind you will be even worse. So hopefully, again, it's an owner's sign. Okay, that's fine. So again, I'm just going to kind of go back here and just kind of show you what I'm looking for. It's one of those, the first time or two that you see it, you might consciously look at it, but ultimately for me, it just becomes peripheral. So coming along, going past the scoring pylon, start to turn in. There's my aim point, and I just go straight towards it. And then I'm out in the front stretch, just let the car come all the way out. And that is lap at Sunset Peninsula. And I inherited a dirty time. That's fine. So that's a lap there. It's at least for me, I think the most treacherous bits of this course is just going to be just those first two turns getting off the banking. I think that's going to cause us the most issues for all of us during the race. But let's find out how much of an issue that's going to be for me. Let's go ahead and exit. We'll go ahead and quit race, and let's see how many laps are we going to do here. Okay, I've got that. Yep. So we'll go ahead and we'll set up a mock race against the AI with what I think is the race distance. And then we'll see how that actually is. So let's go to advanced setup. We'll choose the Alpha. Let's go ahead and load options. Saved options. Yep, we'll load you. Okay, so we are at Sunset Peninsula. We are at, Club Circuit Reverse. And make sure I get this right. We're going to do 28 laps. We'll see how long it takes me. Starting time of day random, that's fine. Rolling 4X dynamic track rubber at 40%. Matt changed that a few seasons ago, and I didn't realize that. So, and we'll do random weather, but I am not going to race in the rain. Me, that's fine. Them, they're in touring cars, that's fine. Sport rules, standing start there. Grid ordering is by PI. Ascending grid order, no. Per car, have second delay. We're all going to do one mandatory stop and 2 car groups. Okay, I think that'll do it. Excuse me. Let's see what we were given. Okay. A little bit overcast, a little bit different look. And let me just double check. So, all right, so noon, thunderclouds. So good. All right. Let's talk tire strategies, or at least let me talk about tire wear. Yeah, because I'm not good with strategy. So for the 60% cliff, that when these tires start going off, tire testing last night, soft, medium, hard. They were hitting 60% on laps 7, 10, and 13. So 28 lap race. Well, let's 17, 12, yeah. Yeah, so you could do it. Yeah, and that's where I get, like, I'll probably just do one stint on each tire, I think, for this race. But then when we get into the actual race, it's then, can you stretch? If I can stretch, I don't think you can do it in I don't think you can do it in a one stopper because 23 and we got to go 28. If you're going to do it in one stop, you're going to be whew, it's going to be tough. Even on a medium hard strategy, that's going to be very tough. You're going to be pushing severe. You're going to be past 70%, maybe almost at 80. So if you can make it work, good on you. But I will not do that. So I'll probably do 7. Let's see if I do 11 on the hard, 10, 11, 10, 21. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do 11, 10, 11, 10, and then finish on 7. So we'll do that. That'll work. Um, maybe during, maybe on the race itself is, let's see, 2 stops, 14, 24. If it is 28 laps, it might be a hard, soft, soft strategy. That's a possibility. But no, we'll do one of each and just see how we do. So we'll go hard tire. Almost, you almost need a full tank. That makes sense just because of the long straightaway on the banking. So we'll just do 100% fuel. That's fine. And let's go ahead and start the race. So 28 laps, Sunset Peninsula Club Reverse. Again, just to spread the field out a little bit so that they're not all bunching into turn 1 and just give me a little more traffic to work through. We're going to do a half-second delay for everybody, which means then I'm going to at least be 14 seconds behind the leader by the time I get going. And for the most part, since I'm racing the touring car class, they will outhandle me, I will outrun them. So a little bit of contrasting styles. Oh yeah, pushing a little bit there at the front. Watch the exit there. 400 board. I'm gonna break a little bit earlier because that's not the ideal line through there, and that's a lot of steering input, and that's the side of my car. Yeah, so that second gear out of that final corner, that's why I'm kind of like humming and hawing if I want to try to do that in third versus second and upshift, just because of the wheel spin. A little bit, yeah, getting a little bit of vibration in the wheel from the front sliding. So much for trying to keep them from bunching up. Excuse me. Take a look at the inside. Yes, it wouldn't be a touring car race without some. Yes, in third, less wheel spin out. It's just the car's going to understeer if you don't have it slowed down enough. I'm going high, so just ease off the throttle, roll back into it. It's the inside. I think that's the other, if there's a downside, even for the line I'm probably going to be taking, I'm leaving the door wide open for somebody to try to sneak underneath. a little bit too late on the brakes. Start turning in just so I get to that final big palm tree there. Still pushing a little bit. I can feel the tires letting go just because of the steering. I could have left it in third there. That's not the ideal line out of that corner. And I miss the shift. Try your line this time. I just can't make the car stick down there. A little bit shallow there for me, and a little bit of spin. Yeah, second gear is going to be fun. Good one this time. I'll take the low side, I'll take the high road. And I'll get to the turn before you will. Oh, I don't like burying the revs. Don't like burying the needle on downshifts. I feel it risks unsettling the car. I mean, threshold braking, probably not as bad, but if you're trying to trail brake and you've got any kind of weight transfer in the back of the car, then you spike the revs into the limiter, it binds the back of the car up. So that's my opinion. Jackie Stewart's philosophy, as far as braking and downshifting like that, is it's cheaper to replace brakes than a transmission. A little bit late. That could have been better, not paying attention. I don't know why you're braking. There we go. That's a little better of a line. If you're gonna drop tires, then drop tires. And don't kiss the edge of the track. be up high. And I'll take that. Thank you very much. Yeah, short shift out of that corner is probably best. That is about the smoothest I've done that. I'll take it. Early. Almost did it again. Yeah, I would say the most obviously the most important turn on this track is that final, the second half of that double apexer. Is that is, since that's the last kind of balancing that you're doing with the car through a corner before, getting onto a long full throttle section, getting good out of that corner will pay off then if you're going to try to pass somebody, through the oval, or maybe even set up the turn, for that turn off the banking. But we are going to go pit, which I have no idea where I'm supposed to pit. Let's see, final corner. There it is. And actually, before I do that, again, I'm hedging bets on on if the VOD saved or not. So I want to just it's only slightly quicker than what I did on the controller. I did a 1 minute 552 on the controller last night, and slightly improved that on a 526. Okay, it's just I always log. When I do these, let's resume here. It catches you before you have to turn. Yeah, when I do the tire testing and I prep for these races, usually I kind of use my best lap on the hard tires as kind of the basis for it, and then depending on where that, divide that best lap into 1800 seconds. It usually gives me a rough lap count. Usually I'm dropping a lap off of that to account for pit stops. Excuse me, wrong pipe. And then usually I'll give that to Matt, and he can then make the decision there if I'm close or not. So getting back onto the circuit, I don't know where the best place is. Well, it's expecting me to be back on now, but I'd say wherever it's safest. If you can get back on the banking straight away, that's fine. That just might be a question for Thursday, because there's really no definitive blend line. We'll have one more crack at it to see what works best. Somebody's having a bad day. That's weird. Now let's see how the next lap is. I'm wondering maybe the hard tires, second gear is better for that final double apexer, but mediums, there's enough grip where you can do it in third. little wide. But again, don't panic. Just deal with what you got and try to get back on rhythm as quickly as you can. Probably break a little bit later there on the mediums. Probably not quite at the 3 board, but maybe about halfway between. Pushing. Let's see if we can run Bruce down. Coming for you, Bruce. Little gaggle of cars there in front of me. Even through those corners, I'm never really at full throttle. Wondering what Ziggy was doing there. You notice getting in the banking, I'm really not needing to put a lot of steering into it. And I am paying attention to, if the wheel starts to vibrate. I can't talk and drive at the same time. If I go into that corner, I'm feeling the wheel vibrating into the banking, then that's a sign it's too much steering. Whoa! Hi, Bruce. Laps. Good. How are we doing? At 35%. Eh, let's see if I can make this inside line work. The, the other the other reason I like practicing with AI, or at least have some traffic there, is maybe I get into situations, where I'm trying to make a pass, where, I'm going to have to break the corner, you know, offline, and like, well, how do I need to adjust to, you know, to make that pass work, still get the car through the corner and not, hurt my time or or go off track or time track limits, all that good stuff. That was optimistic. I got straight lines, so I just need to get a good exit here. I should. Oh yeah, I'm going to catch him well before we start turning on the banking. A little bit late there. Yeah, the other thing with that, going low in, is it's harder to late apex that corner. The late apex, the left-hander, so you can really set up nicely for the right as I spin the back tires up. We're at minor now, which means we'll be very close to moderate by the time I finish this lap. Yeah, third gear is better through there, and then upshift to fourth. Well, it's a little bit late. The final corner. Oh, yeah, we're all going in. Okay. All right, soft tires to the end. I know it's little things, but it'd be kind of nice if Forza, at least on the pit animations, would have the option, like, all right, if you're on race tires, to show that the crew is putting on a race tire and not a street tire. That's me. Gotta run, gotta look. Yeah, I'm gonna be alongside at this point. You want to try and stay off that inside curbing, just because you're trying to carry some speed through the double apexer. You don't want anything that's gonna push the car. And note to self, I'm actually going to check to see if we just had a small earthquake. Yeah, there's just like felt a little, sitting here in the seat and like, yeah, that I don't have anything in the seat that's gonna move. Um, it's fun when you can get that little bit of a wheel spin, a little bit of a four-wheel drift, and you can kind of hold the balance. All right, I don't think we're gonna catch Dan Greenewald's drive guitar unless he makes a third pit stop. But let's fifth place. There's fourth and third in front of me, it looks like, so maybe I can get on the podium. Got to run, but just not enough time to close it up. And ooh, Dresky going a little defensive there. Oh, excuse me, Rick. That wasn't Rick. That was was the left car. Ooh, going way high. And I would expect Dresky to take a look. Again, touring car is much better braking. Nope. Oh, okay, these are lapped cars. Because I can see Mellon is 10 seconds in front of me. Don't think we're going to make that up in 3 laps. Copy that. Okay, so I'm going to experiment with that line in. I'm still using that tire track as kind of the reference point of when to start braking, but then it's going to be it's like, can I straddle it? Can I be below it? What feels most comfortable? But I do anticipate there's going to be. Wouldn't surprise me if we have a couple of collisions there, because it's again, what, four or five lanes wide here, going into a corner or part of the track that's 2.5. So it will be a bit of a funneling effect. Coming up on Nate. Just don't think I've got enough time to get him. Minor tire wear. Okay, so for me on a wheel. It's 7 laps,
Final
though
lap,
I'm probably getting
practice.
slightly better wear. What?
Total time penalty is about 1.5 seconds.
I can get clear of him for that. Come on, power. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nope. Oh, it gave it to me. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Uh 29:49. So yeah, that's 28 laps is good. I would say that's going to be the race distance on Thursday. And actually, while I'm still on stream, I got to double check this. Is it? Let's see. Ah, ha ha. Yeah, you're not going to see it, but I'll hold that up there. Yeah, had a 4.4 at about 103. Wait, was that 103 p.m.? Oh, the clock is still off. Yep. Nope, that happened. That was an earthquake. That was interesting. Yeah, 4.4 from Thousand Oaks. Yeah, that's a good, eh, far enough away, no damage, but enough like, ooh, little earthquake. Anyhow, so that is track guide at Sunset Club, Sunset Peninsula Raceway Club Reverse. Yeah, expect 28 laps for Thursday, and we'll see you then. Hope you have a good weekend. Happy racing. Fingers crossed. Let's do the podium. I got to see the podium because I'm on the podium. I'll take a pause, go see if the VOD saved, and if it did, awesome. If not, I'll probably still try the other track out. I got to practice anyway, and this is just a weird intermittent issue. I'm not sure because I had one last week where the first track guide didn't go through, but the second one did, and then Thursday didn't stream didn't work. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but fingers crossed the VOD saves. But again, hope you're having a good day. Happy racing.